kids, this is Miss Manus. She's going to demonstrate for us today what we're going to do for the writing assessment. First thing you need to remember is there's going to be people all around you. Should you talk to them? Let's stop and think. No, we don't do that during a test. We don't talk. For example, during a writing assessment, you might read something on the screen that you are not sure about. That could happen. And you might be tempted to turn to your neighbor and ask a question like Miss Manus is. But this is an issue because, one, you're not supposed to be talking during a writing assessment because it's distracting. But also, if you think about it, it's a situation where you could be accused of cheating. And we don't want to be accused of cheating. So make sure that you do not turn to your neighbor and talk during the writing assessment. Another thing to keep in mind is personal space. Miss Manus is leaning over into Miss Ivister's area and causing her to have to move her stuff and distract her from her writing assessment. Let's stop and think about this. This going to be something we want to do during the assessment? No. We don't want to take away from what someone else is doing during the writing assessment. Sometimes if you're stumped and don't know what to write about during the writing assessment, you might be tempted to look over and see what your neighbor's writing about and get an idea from them. However, this is cheating. We don't cheat here at Indian Trail. That is not doing our personal best when we look at someone else's answers to get our own answers. The scratch piece of paper is there for you to organize your thoughts and pull apart the prompt. I can see Miss Manus is pulling apart the prompt and doing a great job. However, some students will use this paper to draw on and waste time. This is not doing your personal best when you use the paper to draw or doodle or write notes that have nothing to do with the writing. Make sure you use your time wisely. After you pull apart the prompt and organize your thoughts, it's then time to start writing. However, some students will do what Miss Manus is doing on her screen right now. They'll play with the keys and type stuff they shouldn't. This is wasting your time and it is not doing your personal best when you decide to do this on your computer. There are things that happen during a writing assessment that we can't help. For example, you sneeze and need a tissue, or you break your pencil. Miss Manus just sneezed. Well, she decides to get up, go to the tissue box, and grab a tissue to blow her nose. Now, this doesn't seem like a big deal, but if there's all these other students in the room, that will be very distracting to them. Same thing with breaking a pencil. If you break your pencil and decide to get up and go to the sharpener, that's very distracting. So we're going to look at some strategies you can use in those situations. Here are some ideas about what to do during the test when those situations happen. If your pencil breaks, just hold it up. That's a signal to your teacher that you need a new pencil and you don't have to talk or get up and distract others to get a new pencil. And kind of similar for when you sneeze. Oh, she just sneezed. She'll raise her hand and touch her nose. That lets her teacher know that she needs a tissue, and she doesn't distract others by getting up to go and blow her nose. Students always ask, well, what if I don't feel good? Well, we don't want you to sit there and vomit on the computer. That would not be good. So in those situations, you do not have to raise your hand. You're just going to get up and walk over to the trash can just like Miss Manus is getting ready to do. Managing your time during the writing assessment is very important. It's easy to get so busy typing that you forget what time it is. So be sure to stop periodically and look at the clock to see that you are using your time wisely and to figure out how much time you have left. Sometimes during a test, we make noises we don't mean to. For example, Miss Manus is tapping her pencils. She's now banging her hand against the desk. Now she's drumming her fingers, or she's fidgeting with her laptop. Now she's playing with her lanyard, clipping it and unclipping it. And we don't mean to make these noises, but they happen. However, let's think about this. If you're making all those noises, is that distracting to the people around you? Yeah, it's very distracting. So we want to make sure that if we feel the need to move or stretch, that we do it in a quiet way. Some students will finish their writing assessment early and want to click the submit button, but let's stop and think about that. If you finish the writing early, should you click the submit button? No. Because if you do, well, then you have nothing to do while others are typing. And you've got a lot of time left to use that you didn't use. Some students will click the submit button, then put their head down, put their hands behind their head, try to sleep. But that's not a good use of our time, and it's not your personal best. Use all of your time to edit and make your writing even better.